بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم. We give thanks to Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for giving us this and opportunity of bringing us the part 2 of the series of what is happening across the globe with respect to the war of the apartheid brutal genocidal regime of Israel led by terrorist PP, that is Benjamin Netanyahu, and ably supported by the so-called superpower of the world and supporter of terrorism across the globe, that's Donald J. Trump. So we want to continue on that series. Now, presently, as I've said at the last episode, with respect to the unfortunate attack that happened on US base in Iran. Firstly, we need to establish the fact that the Gulf states, there are six, and the US has approximately 40,000 troops in the Middle East. The first question we need to ask ourselves that the Russia and the China, the reason why the rising power, why they don't say why they are fighting against a unipolar world. Somewhere, the Western hegemony can never and we should not be dictating what to happen to the rest of the world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created everybody and He created us equally. The only thing that will separate us is inna akramakum indallahi atqakum. Allah created us in nations, in tribes, in different colors. In other verse, He said, وَاخْتِلَافِ أَلْسِنَتِكُمْ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. لَعَلَّكُمْ يَتَفَكَّرُونَ. The reason why He makes why we have different languages, different tongues, is for us to be able to identify ourselves and for us to reason about the greatness of Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One of the Hujjatul Wada, the farewell, the last sermon, the khutbah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. One of the central messages that no mankind, the black, Laisa and Jami, the Arabi, that is an Arab man, is not greater or does not have a greater rank with Allah compared to a black man. Why a white man is not better than a black man. We are all equal in the sight of Allah. And the only person, the best person in the sight of Allah is those who fear Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As a result of this fact, is what we are basing our premise of our discussion today on. But unfortunately, the Muslim world failed to understand this, and the rest of the world failed to understand this particular concept that we all equals. Racism is at its peak at the Western world. In fact, in the entertainment world, football, you see black footballers being racist against. Look at what Samuel Eto'o did for Barcelona. Despite that, he was racist. Was the racist against him. When he went to Inter Milan, he was racist against. We look at Mario Balotelli. A lot of them, racism is at its peak everywhere in the West, and that's what they are clamoring for. That they are better than the rest of the world. That the Western world should be dictating what is to happen to the rest of the world, which the Central Asia, led by China, and the Muslim world, the Middle East, led by Turkey, because the Ottoman Empire of 1924, was in Turkey, that the world is bigger than five. There's a program on TLT that states that the world is bigger than five. Why can't you have just five people representing the world in the Security Council, in the National Security Council? That shouldn't be the case. So as a result of that, a lot of vices the Western world are, are perpetrating against the rest of the world. And a clear example is what is happening in Gaza, which is very, very unfortunate. 75 years of genocide is happening in Gaza and nobody is saying anything. And October 7, people are crying loud of what has happened compared to 75 years of maltreatment. Imagine somebody coming to your land, kicking you away from your land and doing all sorts of things. How will you take it? So that is an historical event that we are going to exchange some other time, that this particular time will not give us the opportunity of doing. Now, the what we want to talk about, we still need to dealt with in further episodes the what is happening in Iran with respect to US joining the apartheid regime of Israel in the fight against Iran. But what is happening in Gaza should not be relegated, because as this thing is unfolding, unfortunately, the issue of Gaza is being